Yes. People, are you still with us? I would just kind of shake it a little bit, take a moment. I'm kind of halfway through, so um, let's still stay focused. It's getting really hard. But yeah, it's Mili here. I'm also coming back on the stage. I was one of the first, like, out of Romania of this part, so we kind of opened it up. We didn't know what is happening, so happy to be here 2 years after. And yeah, this AI story that I will share is also, I think, like Bella said, based on my personal experience. And I will share something with you that I don't like admitting, but I do not like being dependent on anything or anyone. So, not in the relationships, not with substances, maybe coffee, I'll own that one, but especially not technology. So, over the past 2 years, I realized that my relationship with technology has shifted drastically. Answers to my question is a prompt away. A body, a perspective is just another prompt away. Calculating 28% of 136, done like this. But that's not me, I realize. And it kind of really raises up this uncomfortable question is like, how do I keep my knowledge mine? How do I keep skills mine? How do I stay independent, owner of my learning journey in this age of like AI abundance? And that is the topic for today. Especially having this role working with others, how do we support others to build this what we call self-directed learning muscle, instead of just letting it kind of atrophy? And I wanted to share like 4 principles that I have included and want to include kind of moving forward as design principles, that are built on the learning science as we know, but are really critical shift that we need to see in the kind of AI powered world. So I call them, as you see, like 4 principles for self-mastery in the age of AI, very suiting. So let's start with the first one. That is all about building agency. So neuroscience gives us answer here. Your brain learns when it makes a prediction error. So you guess something, you're wrong, your brain snaps awake to fill that gap. That's what happens. That's what rewires, and that's how the learning is kind of the new paths are created. But what happens right now, we jump straight into the AI, we skip that prediction, we skip that error, and ultimately, long term, we skip this learning piece. And this is where it's kind of this design principle that I wanted to share is like really force generation before retrieval. What that means, before any AI interaction on your own, so even when you're like with your ChatGPTs, Claudes, etc., before any training model, ask the learners, what do you think the answer is? What would you try here? What would your approach be? Like to really start developing this cognitive agency now that we are early in this relationship with the technology. This is how we kind of get this ownership back, because AI does not make us smarter, but thinking before you ask AI, this is what makes you smarter. So remember that generation before retrieval, or like how I'm now using it, think before you prompt. Let's go to the second one. We all know this one. Make reflection systematic. So not optional, systematic. We also know that research here is very clear. Metacognition is a super power and fuel to how we form our identities. So it's not about what we learn. There's content all over the place, but it is about who you are becoming when you learn something new and being very conscious about that. So this is what we can build in the design. Some kind of AI-powered reflection prompts, not kind of coming as an afterthought that you add on, but really part of the design. So asking questions, where did AI or specific tools save me most time this week? What was the hardest thing I struggled with when I had to learn this and that? So really kind of going deep to embed this weekly, quarterly, however you call in the design process, this very clear reflection points and intervention. So AI can absolutely weaken our thinking, or AI can supercharge our self-awareness. So we get to choose this. And this is what I think it's really kind of important to remember, that we become these empowered learners by watching ourselves learn. And that's the principle number 2. The third one that I want to share is really designing for complexity, or better, designing for progressive complexity. Again, we know genuine struggle is what builds capability. It must hurt a little bit. It must be uncomfortable for us to be kind of mastering it. Unfortunately, there's no shortcut here. And this is kind of what I think someone mentioned, is like come together to kind of go through that pain together. So it's a pain that generates something, and we want to create more of that. So some kind of experiment labs, sprints where people come together, choose a tough real world problem to build some AI augmented solutions and demo it to the others. So we already heard this collaborative learning is really, really important, like give people something to struggle with and to generate together something together. Especially in companies, you heard about hackathons, right? Everybody likes that because it's really working. And what happens there is like you have, number one, you get a portfolio worthy evidence, proof of capability, not just proof of completion, for example, of the maybe module online that you set. But second of all, it kind of turns this individual learning into organizational IP. So really what one person figures out becomes everyone's assets, and that's the beauty of it. So this kind of designing for progressive complexity is where really building the capability is. And we don't want to remove struggle from the learning, because struggle is the thing that creates this capability. And kind of easy make it efficient, but hard makes you capable. And the last but not least, the principle that we just heard recently, it's like make the learning self-visible. Here again, backed up with research, your identity grows in community. So we don't become a self-directed professionals all alone, but we become when we see others learning, when we see others learning differently, but also when they see you learning. And this is all about peer learning clusters, show and tell sessions, some career catalyst demos where you kind of try to see for kind of I imagine that more in the conversation of your growth and performance, really how do senior leaders come to see the skills application and the growth for promotion. Because this is when we are surrounded with others who are self-driven, that definitely affects us and help us move further. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you, because as my starting point, my discomfort with dependency, right? My desire to keep my knowledge mine, my skills mine, and my being mine. So that's the key lesson here. We just have to help others also stay independent, and us being designers of how we use it. So it is not about AI taking it all and taking all our agency, but it can mean that the age of augmented agency only if we are really kind of intentional in how we build our learning programs. So yeah, my invite to you, let's build it, let's build for that, and let's build it now.